All right, so on to the last exercise in this lab, voltage dividers. These are actually the most common type of circuit that you see. If you look at my power supply, I've got these control knobs, control current. Any knob or something like that controls volume or the amplitude of something is a simple voltage divider circuit. So what we're going to do is hopefully explain to you what these voltage dividers are. They're extremely simple. All it consists of is two resistors in series. So I've got my two resistors in series. So we're going to break this up into two parts, two videos. The first one, I'm going to use the two resistors and put them in the voltage divider. Then the second part, the second video, I'm going to talk about a variable resistor. So this is going to be our control knob. This is actually what a knob looks like underneath. If you can actually take apart that power supply, you're going to see something looks like that that's soldered in. And the knob is attached to this. This pole actually can move back and forth, and it changes the resistance at will, one of the resistances. Well, we're going to first start out is using two fixed resistors, two 1,000 ohm resistors, and we're just going to put them in series on our breadboard. So let's just start doing that really quick while you're here's one, boop, and the other one comes up here. Now these are 1,000 ohm resistors. I'm going to check them out just to make sure before I start out. So let's just make sure each of these is 1,000. So I'm going to hook this one up. All right, so the right one there is 988 ohms. Now it says, let me explain something to you. It says 0.988, so it may be confusing to you, but look at the unit. It's a kilo ohm. So it's 0.988 kilo ohms. 1 kilo ohm is 1,000 ohms. 0.9 kilo ohm is 900 ohms. This is 0.988, so it's 988 ohms. So it's almost 1,000. So let's actually just check the other one. Because I think you have to write down the exact resistances in your textbook. So this one is pretty close, 0.989. Okay? So we've got the resistances of our voltage divider. So on your data table, it says two resistor circuit, resistor number 1 and resistor number 2. So what did I do? I read off them on the, so I guess this is the second one I wrote. So one of them is 989, and the other one is 988. So I guess that was resistor number 1, and this was resistor number 2, how I read them off in the video. Now, how do we set up the circuit? Okay, I'm going to take away my voltmeter. Now what I'm going to do, if you look at your circuit diagram, all you have to do is hook up the power supply across both resistors. So what I'm doing is applying my power supply. I'm going to show you this. I just plug in the cords to the power supply. What am I connecting to the resistors? I'm connecting the power supply. I don't know why it's blurry. It's probably too far away. Let me move the power supply a little closer. Come here, power supply. There we go. So now the power supply is closer. I've got the black lead going in one end and the red lead going to the other in the power supply. So I have a series circuit, and I have power going into each of the ends of the entire circuit. Now, what does it say we want to do now? We want to put 10 volts to the input and note the output voltage. So what I'm going to do is turn my power supply on. Okay, move it up to 10 volts. 5, 7, 8. Oop. All right, 10.0 volts. Now I probably could use a voltmeter to get a little more precision, but let's just read off the value that's on this. So I got 10.0 volts, and on your data table, that's the voltage of the circuit, the total voltage across the, well, actually, it's listed as input voltage. So it says input voltage, that's where you put the 10 volts. That's across the entire circuit. Now, the output voltage is across one of the resistors. So if you look at the circuit the circuit diagram right where the procedure is. They have R1, from what we're looking at, it's on the right, and R2 is on the left. So that's actually how I read them off. R1 here, this is what I said was R1, and this was R2. Now what I'm going to do, what a circuit divider is it takes two resistors in series, and you got a voltage across both of them, and it divides the voltage. In other words, the output only goes across one of the resistors. What I'm going to do is make a separate circuit and only take the current from one resistor. So if these resistors is exactly equal to each other, you're going to ideally get half the voltage. So let's go see if that works. It divides the voltage. So a voltage divider is exactly what it says it is. It divides the voltage. You have a couple of resistors in series, and you only pull the voltage or energy off of one of the resistors. So what I'm going to do is add a voltage leads to resistor number 2. That's the left resistor, okay? And then I'm going to look at the voltage. Oh, okay. I can see I had these switched around. There you go. So now let's look, these power, there we go. 5.031. So let's look at your data. Let's see. Calculated output. So what this is your measured output voltage. The measured output voltage is 5.032 volts. Your input voltage is 10.0 volts. What you're going to do is go look up in your laboratory manual equation number, I'm looking it up, no, that's incorrect. Equation number 3. It's V in times R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So we know the values of R1 and R2. You plug those values in for equation number 3, and you put in 10.0 volts for V in, and then you get V out, and it should be close to 5 volts. And I said before, because you have two resistors that are about equal, oh dear, it's about ready to pull apart from my circuit board. You should get half the voltage, and which we do. Now what we're going to do is replace one of the resistors, this one right here, with a variable resistor. So if you have fixed resistors, you can divide the voltage, but the only thing you can do is divide it exactly by half, and that's it. You can't like make it, you can't, it's just like taking a volume control knob and you have full volume, and then you have a switch that makes it go to half volume. But what we do in a volume control knob is we vary it from a little bit, very gradually, all the way up to the full maximum. To do that, you have to have a variable resistor. So instead of having a fixed 1,000 ohm resistor, we're going to put a variable resistor in, and then we're going to be able to show that you can vary the voltage at will very gradually. And that's the next video. That's part 2 of this exercise.